It goes back to this is very. So we approved that here. Okay.
Oh man, I was so sick. Remember that last meeting? And the next day was that smoke. I thought it was someone's perfume, but
It was the air.
yeah. My asthma went crazy. And then I got super sick.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm feeling better, but I still like feel like my chest is tight.
That's what it's in. I call the Tuesday, July 28th meeting of the City Commission to order. Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. The clerk will call roll, please.
Foltz. Here. Hauser.
Here.
Farrell.
Here.
Hanson.
Here.
Place. Quorum present.
Make a motion to excuse Commissioner Place.
Second.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. The motion carries. The next item is the approval of the agenda. There are a couple of changes to the agenda. Item 10G, the ordinance amendment, is being pulled for staff request. And we are adding item 10G, reconsideration of a motion from our last meeting. So do I have I'll make the motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I second.
Moved and supported. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The motion carries. We're on to the consent agenda. The purpose of the consent agenda is expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together to be dealt with by one commission motion without discussion. Any member of the commission, staff, or public may ask that any item on the consent agenda be removed and placed as the last item under new business to receive full discussion. Such requests will be automatically respected. Is there any request from the commission? The only item on the consent agenda is the last minutes. None from the commission, from staff. Any staff requests? Public? No public online? I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Roll call, please.
Foltz,
Aye.
Hauser,
Aye.
Farrell,
Aye, sorry.
Hampton.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. The next item is public comment. Any person may comment on any subject. Comments are limited to 5 minutes, and the clerk will provide a 30-second warning when your time is nearing an end. The commission will not engage in debate at this time, and written comments on the form provided, which looks like this, will be responded to by staff. Please step to the podium if you have a comment.
This time's gonna be a lot shorter, so I won't run out of time, I can guarantee it. My name is Lori Pickett, 555 Maddie Lane. Commissioner, city staff, and fellow residents. As a Boyne City resident myself, I want to express my strong support for establishing Marina Advisory Committee. There's every reason to create this committee and truly no reason not to. Our marina is a shared community asset economically, recreationally, and environmentally, and having a dedicated group of residents, boaters, and key stakeholders offering insight will only improve decision-making. This committee will provide practical real-world experience coupled with a balanced perspective that will enable the city to protect and strengthen the marina, one of our most important public assets, for the long term. This is a simple, effective way to make sure the voices of the people who care about and use the marina are part of the conversation. I believe in this effort and the value this committee can bring and intend to submit my name for consideration. Appreciate your time and your consideration.
Thank you, Lauren.
Hi, I'm back again. My name's Steve Persons. I live at 437 Poplar Street. It's to do with the playground out there. At the last meeting, you guys were talking about putting signs back up. Because I went back again last Tuesday and there's no signs there. And with it being put on Facebook, you're making the town liable for somebody who comes up here and has no idea about all the dangers over there. There's still no sign up there. So I just thought they were supposed to be putting new signs up. And I mean, it was packed with kids the other day. I love kids playing, but you know, if there's a hazard and somebody gets hurt, the board's going to be held responsible, I think, or the city. And then the taxpayers have to pay that. So I'm just curious how come nobody put the warning back up? That's what I'm.
Thank you, sir. Any other public comments? Anything online? We'll close public comment. The next item is correspondence. It's indicating there's none, but I believe we got a letter from Bay Township.
Yes, there was a letter that did not get put in the packet. That was dealing with the delivery of the notice. And I've checked with the post office. We cannot confirm why it was. There's no indication that it wasn't signed for or declined at the city. And the post office can't give us a reason why. I'm still communicating with the local delivery person to find out if there was any slips delivered. Staff has not seen any slips.
So do we have the letter from them or not?
We do not have the letter.
Wasn't it included in email? Oh, it was part of the thread.
It was included in the email to, I don't know if it went out to all the commissioners or some of the commissioners.
It went to the commissioners.
Okay.
So from a correspondence perspective, we have an item of correspondence that did not appear in the package. Can that be corrected?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, with that correction, is there any further discussion amongst the commission? Without action, the correspondence is filed. The next item is city manager report. City Manager Demo, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Cybersecurity, last meeting that we agreed, we got an agenda to change the motion. But we signed the onboarding is scheduled for August 6th through the 9th. We wanted to wait until all the elections was cleared out. We didn't want to mess with onboarding 2 days before the election. So that is scheduled for that time. We've also transferred the information that they're doing the deep dive into all of our information to deem anybody's information that might have been compromised. So we've seen those. We have not seen the results of those yet, but they're in that process. Public Works Department, the punch list for CWSR1, they're still working on restoration work on McLean, Boynes, East Main, and Roosevelt. The line stripping, if it's not completed, they were busy all late last week working on putting the stripes for the parking, for the crosswalks, and everything else. Staff has been busy filling holes and other duties around town. The sidewalk across the street from the open space, it was deteriorating underneath of it. I think we sent some pictures out. That has been repaired. The staff has met with the downtown group to kind of formalize a new plan for snow removal for this winter. So we're trying to make things more efficiently and things done better that way. The Parks and Rec, one of the pop-up canopies is up at the dog park. Bids for the open space was opened on July 22nd. There was 5 bids. The price ranged from $388,211 to $476,800. There was Beckert and Rader wanted to go back through and double check the numbers. There was some concern to make sure that the numbers were correct. What the quantities they said matched everything. So that's where we're in the process. We should have the next commission meeting, those able to have it before you to be approved. Last week, we met with Eagles Environmental Quality Analysis at the playground. They looked at it and they have agreed that if we move forward with our previous plan of action and bring in new mulch, have it treated, and have the items that are listed as critical repaired, that the park can stay open as we move forward with the process. We have planned this, I made a correction on here, but we are planning a community playground discussion. That's going to be on August 13th after the Parks and Rec Commission meeting at 6:30. We thought that way we can keep all the parks people there. And we will have it here in this room, discussion on how we move forward with the playground equipment.
Could you repeat the date and time of that, please?
That is August 13th at 6:30 in this room. Other business, the EMS staff was recognized by the Door to Needle Award. This is an award that's been is presented every quarter, and it's for all of McLaren's Northern Hospital area. And what this entails for is with stroke patients, there's procedures that have to be in place for the hospital to be able to give the life-saving stroke medicine. So they need all the vitals, they need all the medication past histories, they need a lot of information. And the EMS team tied with another one for 21 minutes from the door to the time they were able to administer the medicine. So this was a good acknowledgement that the EMS team has been well trained. They prepped for this many times. They were very timely, and it's a great honor. The staff involved with that were Dan Wandry and Ben Mathers, Amanda Mathers, and Donnie Towns. So they've all been recognized for this award. In this budget, in the agenda item, there's some budget figures. We're still working on getting all the expenses in, and we're getting the revenues in. The revenues are not to where the expenses are, but to this day, to the end of June, the expenditures were $443,508 and some cents. compared to $6,738,648 on the general fund side, which is basically about 1 month's worth of expenses that we budgeted for. It was 6.5% of the total budget, and 2 months worth is 16%. We do acknowledge there's been other expenses such as the cyber and some other recurring expenses that were not budgeted for. So we're being very cautious with all of our expenditures and bringing them forward to the commission. So right now, we're hoping in the month's future, we'll be able to get completely everything entered and start to work for the audit information. So there will be more complete numbers coming forward in the future. The short-term rentals, we're still working on the new ordinance for that. We have some new ideas that we want to put into it. We got to check with legal. We got to check with other items. So that's still being worked on diligently by staff. It's very important. We have signed the agreement with Northwest Networks Northwest and with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation for their grant to start our strategic plan. The next step is for us to create a stakeholders committee. So that's kind of what we're looking at and determining who's all going to be on that committee to help move it forward. So, questions?
Your verbal report does not match the one that you sent out to us. So there was additional items with housing, with Boyne City Housing Commission and the Child Care Initiative. So maybe that's an old.
Then that was on the commissioner's report.
Okay. Okay. Commissioners, any need for further discussion or questions? Seeing none, we'll go ahead and file that. So next item is reports of boards and commissions. The city financials, June 2026, were provided. Is there any question on those from the commission? Hearing none, those will be filed as well. Unfinished business, number 9, we don't think there is any, unless there's anything from the commission. Okay, 10A, do new business. Zach, I believe you're on.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. So yeah, just looking at this property here, I'll just kind of give you the background, I guess. So had a resident call and was concerned they were doing a new build and wanted to make sure they could really know exactly where the setback line was. Not uncommon. And when they realized that things were going to be a little bit tighter than they anticipated, they said, well, who owns this? And I said, well, the city does. And so that's how this kind of spiraled into a lot of tons of research, verifying it's not a park. I know it's adjacent to the park. There's nothing that indicates it's part of it. So I'm not concerned about that. And then going through and trying to find like a fair value for this. Talking to the assessor, I talked to a couple of realtors in town, and nobody could give me an apples to apples comparison. There's undeveloped land doesn't get sold. Your undevelopable land does not get sold, and this stuff has been pretty wet. It was the hottest day I went out there to check just to see, and there wasn't standing water, but it was very soft still. But every other time I went out there was standing water on probably a majority of that property, which is just on that next page. Yep. So yeah, the 6,000 came for kind of covering our costs. I think at the end of the day, if the city gets us back on the tax roll, that's a big win. So if you guys have any questions, I'll take them.
Let's see, we'll go to the public first. Any public? discussion on this item? Online?
No.
And we'll go to the board for deliberation. To begin deliberation, we need a motion. In order to begin the process.
I motion that the city commission that we approve the opening of a sealed bid process as outlined in chapter 14 of the city charter for the disposition of parcel 051-235-050-00 with a minimum bid of $6,000 and authorize the city manager and or clerk treasurer to execute the agreement following review and approval by the city attorney.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded, we can begin deliberation. Commissioner Foltz, let's start with you.
I'm just curious. I'm looking at the aerial photograph of, and I'm looking at property that's due north of that.
Mhm.
That's probably wetland too as well. Is there any idea what the value of those properties are, or any historical information?
I think that one's been held on to for quite a while, so there's not a sale price. You could probably go through the SEV and kind of work backwards kind of thing. And I think that's
It's
what,
an assessed value. Are you trying to get to an assessed value?
Yeah.
so yeah, so the city assessor had that one, but was basically like that wasn't, so this is kind of the standard we've always used and didn't really help us in this situation.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I don't have any concerns about this. I think it's a fair process, a sealed bid process, and see what happens. And
I had the same question that Commissioner Foltz had with regards to what is the value of that property. We don't want to give away city property. And that it has limited utility by virtue of how wet it is, but the only limitation would then be the amount of effort required or taken to make it not wet and to make it buildable. So we've all seen areas where you wouldn't think they could build them, and they do. So this is a lakefront, so it's not like it's something that's front and center. But I have concerns with us going at this and getting costs out of it to the detriment of our citizens in terms of the overall investment or the potential on a sale for that parcel. So I understand 6 is a minimum, but you know the value would be roughly 67.8 based on the high end, based on it being a built parcel. So it falls somewhere between that. We don't have to make that decision today. We're just opening the bid process on a given parcel. So just something for us to keep in the back of our minds as we move forward. So, Commissioner Hauser?
I don't have an issue per se with this. I think that the land, I mean, it is like Commissioner, I cannot talk today. Like Commissioner Ferris said, it was, this takes a little bit of effort to make something buildable. But this is also, it's 3 city lots that aren't getting taxes paid on them right now. And if it's something that's wetland that's not easily built upon, I would like to see something in the deed restrictions that they can't build certain size structure more than I know they want to build a shed, I believe, correct, something like a garage or a shed on it. But I don't see an issue with doing the sealed bid process and moving forward with this. I think it would be great to get these back on, taxable land that currently just sits with nothing happening on it. And it looks like, sounds like, for the most part, it's going to stay with nothing really built on it, just a shed and a small part of it. So I have no issue moving forward with this process.
Commissioner Hampton.
I have a couple questions. That road, right, Taylor, that's like the parking lot for Rotary, correct? The side where like they play softball.
Yeah, I
So
think people
that-
park along those sides, but the parking is more towards the north, the official.
Yeah, so right where that end right there, at Taylor, that's where like the 4-H kids play soccer that we see in our little thing. I, as a parent, have been up there. What I worry about is one, it's technically 3 city lots in size, correct? So I too am concerned about the price because it is owned by taxpayers and it is city property. I also am concerned because if there is any development there, that is gonna cause, I feel, future issues, especially with how packed Rotary gets in the summertime and in the fall and in the spring. That area, if anyone does build on it, there's gonna be contention between the people that live there, because I know the people that live in the opening there on Taylor, where Taylor meets State, that, you know, they have concerns already with people tearing up and down that area. It's also like where the high school girls softball plays up there too, and so I do have some concerns about that. I also read in there that we could put stipulations if we do decide to sell it. So I'd like to see some ideas on what that would be. So I too would like to wait on making a decision on this because I feel like we just have a few more questions that need to be answered and just what the intentions are. I know they said it was for a shed, but 3 city lots for a shed is big shed. So yeah, just a few issues I had, questions I'd like to have more answered more for the future. That's all I have.
Can I make just a comment on that this is only just to put it out for bid. There's no decisions made today. It will go out for bid, and in that process, we're asking for all these clarification questions that you're asking for. So then they will come back, and then it will be before the commission to even decide yes or no on any of them.
Right, I thought in there it said too that before we do that, we can write in whatever stipulations we had on the land before we put it. When I was reading.
We're requesting them to explain what they want to do with the property. But there might be legally some things that the attorney told us, you know, we just need to be careful how we word things.
Right.
With restrictions, but it can be restricted.
Yeah, so
there's no decision to be made today. Except for if you want to put out for bid.
Right.
Is this zone traditional residential?
Yes.
It is. Could this lot possibly be broken up into 3 lots in the future? It could.
Unless that was a restriction you guys wanted.
Okay.
But then it goes back to the, you know, with enough money, you can build there anywhere. Is that where you would dump all your money? I don't know. Yeah.
Thank you.
And just further clarification, Haley Street does not have utilities, is that correct? Water, sewer?
Correct.
Okay.
There's not sewer there. I don't believe there's water.
Okay. Any further discussion? I'll make the motion that the city commission approve the opening of a sealed bid process as outlined in chapter 14. Oh, we did that already. Sorry. So without further discussion, roll call please.
Hauser,
Aye.
Farrell,
Aye.
Hampton,
Nay.
Foltz,
Aye.
motion carries.
The next item 10B is the appointment of city commission liaison to EDC and local LDFA authority. City Manager Dean, will you have the floor?
Yes, so the city staff is requesting that the commission appoint a liaison to these boards. There hasn't been one since Commissioner Pridgett has left. So this is a process of you guys appointing them.
Okay, just for clarification on these voting positions, as a member of EDC and LDFA, or are they
Liaisons.
Okay. Because I know that's been questionable in the past with a variety of appointments. Thank you. Before we begin deliberation, any public comment? If you would like to comment, please step to the podium. Seeing nobody moving, anybody online? To begin deliberation, Chair would entertain a motion.
Does that mean, feel like we need to talk about some things before we make a motion, because we don't have, I don't know when the meetings are, like, you know what I mean, like, we need to appoint a liaison, but.
Well, I don't know that we're going to appoint today, because I think there's other issues that are going to come forward with various schedules and capabilities. So this is staff asking us to consider appointments. And we can postpone the action on that based on the detail that's required to make that actually work.
So. These have always had a liaison, so I don't understand what we're making, like, we didn't, I'm confused today.
No, we can table it until we have the information we need in terms of when those occur. Because none of us have unlimited schedules.
Correct.
I did look online. It appears that their meetings are on Mondays at noon. Looks like perhaps the second Monday at noon. Just looking ahead to August and September.
The second.
Once a month at noon.
Are the LDFA and the EDC at the same time?
Yes,
And a joint meeting, the LDFA and the EDC?
they close one and open the other one, and a lot of them are the same
Same.
members. But it's separate meetings, but they do it at the same day. And they follow.
I also feel like Commissioner Place should probably be here for this discussion, because he might make something that he's interested in. I guess I move that we table this until we have a little more information on when the meetings are, and Commissioner Place is back from vacation.
Let's support that.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Were you my second?
Do we need to?
Yeah.
I second it.
Farrell,
Aye.
Hampton,
Aye.
Foltz,
Aye.
Hauser,
Aye.
the motion carries.
Okay, the next item, 10C, airport tree removal. Just by Sam Dean, city manager.
All right, we're still in the process of clearing the trees that are in the runway path for the airport. They cleared a lot of the trees, had a major project last year. Then I think it was like the second day on the job, I met the airport, the guy from Michigan Department of Transportation. And he said that there's 3 to 4 more that need to be removed. And so we need to, this is an important process for us to get our change, our status on the airport. In this year's budget, there's $125,000 in the airport improvement line item. This amount is for $21,500. All Aspects Forestry is the one that we put out for bid last time that did all the work before. So we reached out to them again to, it's kind of a continuation of that project that needs to be completed. There, if they're gonna reach out and see if there's some easements, if they can approach some of these by homeowners. If they don't, then there will be a few more trees that need to be removed going down the alley to reach. There's two of these trees are extremely tall. In fact, they have to bring in a crane to be able to remove them. And those are on the property of the HUD property, the Wayne City Housing Commission. So. Questions?
Is there any public discussion regarding this item? Please step to the podium.
I'm Steve Persons, 437 Poplar. You know, when they did removal of the trees last time for that dog park, for the garden, community garden over by the airport, they took those trees down, cleared that area. They were supposed to take care of those trees along the edge, the ones you were talking about on private land, and we're gonna have them cut down. And that was supposed to have been all put in the package. Now you're saying they didn't get touched at all.
I don't know what those trees are.
By the airport, there was trees that needed to get cut out because they were too tall. And over where they were gonna put the community garden, they cut those trees down. And along the edges, they were supposed to get all the trees that were too high up. At least that's what I understood when I kept coming to the meetings. Maybe not, but I'm thinking now you're saying there's 3, maybe 4 trees that are too high. So what trees did they take care of that was so high they had, from last time? That's all I was curious about.
Anybody else from public? Anybody online, Jessica?
No.
Okay, to begin deliberation, I'll move that the city commission approve the bid from All Aspects Forestry LLC for the removal of 5 trees in the amount not to exceed $21,500 and authorize city clerk or city manager or city clerk treasurer to execute the agreement and any related documents necessary to implement the services.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Commissioner Hauser?
We need to be FAA compliant, so we need to get the trees taken care of and make sure that the airport is set up and ready to go and compliant with the FAA standards. So I have no problem with this. It's in the budget. We just need to get it taken care of.
Commissioner Hampton?
I would next time like to see the bid not just be passed to a company we already knew, but let the bid go public next time, because I feel like that's kind of part of our responsibility, but it needs to be taken care of. It is budgeted for, and sounds like they still are working on the project they are finishing up or whatever. So I'll go ahead and approve this.
Commissioner Falls?
I agree that we need to be compliant with FAA guidelines. I'm concerned about, or I'm interested in hearing how that decision will be made, whether the city needs to grant an easement and cut down a bunch of small trees, grant an easement for them to access these bigger trees, or cut down the small trees in the alley. Are the neighbors going to be consulted? How's that decision going to be made?
So that easement will be with the neighbors for the private property. If we've looked at it, there was, I believe, space enough in between the fencing and they would have to agree to. If they say, no, we don't want that equipment in our backyard, then we would have to pursue through the alley. And cut down a couple of these other small ones, and we can see our staff we can remove whatever we can remove to make it accessible through that alley. So the easement will be with any of the neighbors that they would need to go onto the property for.
And the communication is all. in
Yeah,
place.
they have to, they have to talk to the,
Yeah.
even if we don't use the, but yes, they're gonna reach out and talk to all the neighbors and see if it's possible and let them know what they're doing.
Mhm. Okay, so to be clear, and I think to be clear, these additional trees were not part of the original contract with all aspects when they started taking trees down. These particular trees were not a part of that original plan.
Yes, so it's extremely hard to tell which trees are which trees when you go all the way to the end of the runway and look. You can clearly see these group of trees that are taller than the other ones, but as soon as you drive out there, you're like, they all look tall. And when they marked the trees to got cut the first time, these did not get cut down. So there's a special tool they have that they use and they say, okay, here's the ones that need to be still cut down. And this is not to say there could be other trees, but this is the ones that they have identified that need to be down. So when after this is complete, the next step is they will come back out. They wanted to see it with all the foliage and stuff, and they will do a complete. They might even bring in a different camera and some other stuff before they can approve getting us moving to that next level. So that these are the ones that have been identified in the last time they came out.
Okay, it seems like there was a conservative approach. We're only going to cut down as many trees and then see what it looks like. Are there still obstructions? We'll cut down more if we need to cut down more. And we're at that more.
We're at
Yeah,
that
but-
point.
yeah,
And
okay.
it's extremely difficult to tell which, I mean, when you're in there looking up, they all look extremely tall. I mean, it's like, okay, but we went back and forth 3 or 4 times, and then we had to find markers to kind of identify, okay, this is the tree. These are the trees that we want.
Okay.
So, and then we look to what can we save them? Can we just take them down? Would they be able to survive? But these trees, there has, I mean, you can see cracks in them and seeping and stuff.
Mhm.
So there would be no survival to keep these trees or cut them down a third.
Okay, thank you.
So just to clarify, this is an extension of the original bid. With the approved contractor, I too have the concern that we're not putting this out and we're not being prudent with.
We want to be prudent, and it's also a time we really do need to get this. And yes, it should have been done sooner, but we need to get this done while we still got foliage on the trees for them to come out and reshoot it and see.
Okay.
We got another project going on in the city that we're marking trees, such as one over at the dog park and other areas, and we're collecting and we're putting those out for bid. So we're doing a whole tour of the city and marking and trying to gather as many as we can that need to be done on a new project. So the intent is always to put it out for bid. But these were the lowest bidders. These are the ones that have the equipment to do the cranes, and that does limit who can do this work. But we do want to put it out for bid, and any other big projects we got is going out for bid.
And the only other question I have, the source of this is airport maintenance funds.
Yes,
And we've asked in the past for those source funds to be identified in the motion. So that we know where it's intended to be coming from.
okay. So we add that into the motion.
And with that, any further discussion needed amongst the commission?
Mhm.
Hearing none, roll call please.
Hampton,
Aye.
Foltz,
Aye.
Hauser,
Aye.
Farrell,
Aye.
motion carries.
The next item is 10D, the creation of Marina Advisory Committee. Josh, if it was yours.
All right, good afternoon. So since being hired by the city, there's been a lot of discussion about starting a marina committee and a lot of interest from community members and marina members about starting a marina committee to help drive the progress of our wonderful harbor here in Boyne City. Creating a marina is currently one of the only municipality asset that does not have a committee. Parks and Recs have a committee, in the airport has a committee, so there is precedent to start a committee if we decide to go. So creating a marina advisory committee would provide a structured way for marina users and community members to share input and make recommendations on marina related issues. As a committee established by the city commission, meetings would be open to the public and conducting in accordance with Michigan Open Meetings Act. The committee would serve in an advisory role only. It would have the authority, it would not have the authority to make decisions or establish city policy. So what we're asking today is that the city commission directs staff to prepare a marina committee. I can't talk today either. So, that the city commission directs staff to prepare a marina advisory committee charter for future consideration.
Any public input on this item? Please step to the podium if you haven't already talked. You can talk again if you have something else.
Pete Friedrich, 415 High Street, also the chair of Parks and Rec. This has been a thought process for us at Parks and Rec for a long time. Help you guys get the best input possible from not only dock advisors or manufacturers, but also voters, so we can all get the right information and make the best decision possible.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Anybody online?
Yes.
Let me know when they're unmuted.
Hello?
Hi,
Hi.
you have under public comment.
Thank you. This is Michelle Archer, and I understand in the proposal about forming this committee, it said they would not be able to change city policy or make without commission approval alterations to the marina area. I just wanted to make sure, my personal point of contention is I never want there to be a fueling station at our city marina. Also, I would like to have some history built up of actual maintaining of what's already been done and placed in use before I would approve any sort of expansion or other improvement to that marina area. I think the public was pretty clear. I know there are people on both sides of the issue, expand the marina, don't expand it. But I really think if there was ever to be a large ticket item or an expansion to be pursued, that it most definitely needs to be brought up for a public vote prior to anyone getting too carried away with bids, plans, statements that there will be certain changes made to the marina. It's just really a issue close to my heart, and I feel it is our responsibility to be good stewards of our beauty and natural resources in our town. That's all.
Thank you, Michelle. Anybody else on those?
No.
Okay, it goes to us for deliberation. And would somebody here to make the motion?
I move that the city commission direct staff to prepare a marina advisory committee charter for future consideration.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Commissioner Hampton. Your first is go around.
All right, I'm two minds on this. I did talk to Josh about it a little bit. I have noticed that sometimes we have meetings about meetings about meetings and nothing gets done about that. I would like to see how it's gonna be implemented or what, because if it's just gonna be a board that doesn't have power but is just recommendations, then why don't we just have marina input meetings once a month instead of putting people in charge? I would like to hear from other municipalities that have marinas, that have had success with marinas, how they feel about this or how they came about what they thought was the best. We also have a Parks and Rec, which I know there's a lot of parks in Boyne. I'm not dismissing that. We also have a Parks and Rec director. I feel like it's like getting to be too many fish in the bowl. But if you can propose like a streamlined way to make this not just a bunch of people's opinions on a board that we don't do anything with, and instead a way that this is useful to bring it, like, I would like to see more information, I guess I would say. But yeah.
Commissioner Polson?
uh, fully in support of this. I think there are, I did attend the community information group on to discuss this potential Marina Advisory Committee, and there are a lot of really engaged citizens, boaters, fishermen, community members who all bring unique perspectives and that can collectively help to problem solve and identify potential problems and issues, and help Josh as well and advise us in, making our marina as good as it can be. And so I appreciate that we have an airport advisory committee. I don't know anything about airports, but we have pilots and people who enjoy flying that are on that committee that can see the problems, identify the problems, communicate with our airport manager, Sam, and then bring it to us. So they bring their expertise to us and their recommendations to help us make those policy decisions. So I'm fully in support.
I too am in support. I was in support of it when it was even first proposed, and I encouraged it even before with parks. So it's something that there's benefit and value in the information. I have concerns as well that we make sure it's meaningful and not just a perfunctory group that meets and doesn't do much. But we've got a lot to do with the marina, and I, for one, welcome the input of people who use it, because I don't. And I don't know the details about it, and I expect that Josh, you as the supervisor will have of that area would have much more knowledge. And if it improves your capability to do your job and us, our capability to do our oversight, then I'm all for it. So. Mr. Hauser?
I am also in support of this. It's something that has been talked about for a while. And I think that it will help us run our marina more efficiently. And there's a lot of excitement and a lot of engagement within the community. I have had people reach out to me wanting to find out how they can get involved and how they can be a part of it. And I think it will be a great benefit to Josh and to the marina and to making sure we're running efficiently and getting all the expertise. Like, I don't have a vote. I'm not a big voter, so I've been on them obviously, but I don't know anything about marinas and having people who utilize it and run it. Why wouldn't you have their expert knowledge of and input in making decisions in that process? So I'm fully supportive.
Any further discussion amongst the commission? Roll call, please.
Foltz,
Aye.
Hauser,
Aye.
Farrell,
Aye.
Hampton.
Aye.
The motion carries.
The next item is 10E, display fireworks permit for First Baptist Church. Sam, you have the floor.
So the First Baptist Church approached me. They have a conference going on. And in that conference, they would like to have a fireworks display. Our city ordinance says ignition, discharge, or use of display fireworks shall be allowed by the permit of the city commission. So they completed the permit, they brought in the insurance, they brought the listing of all the fireworks to be displayed. And there's a gentleman here that would speak towards it too when you're ready to hear from him. I have no problem. I'm recommending that we issue the single-use permit to the Baptist Church.
You step to the podium and you can give us whatever information that you need. So.
Yeah, thank you, Commission and city officials. My name is Pastor Tony Duty. I pastor the First Baptist Church up in town. And as the manager said, we're conducting our annual Bible conference this week. Starts Wednesday. And you all are welcome, by the way. Starts Wednesday at 7:00. And then, but on Friday night, this year we decided to theme our Bible conference around the 250th celebration of our nation's founding and independence. And so we decided we'd like to do a fireworks show for the attendees on Friday night of our conference. So after the services, we'll dismiss everyone that doesn't wish to stick around and watch the fireworks, but those that do are welcome to sit out and watch the fireworks behind our church. And so we appreciate the approval, if so granted. And once again, you're all welcome to come and watch it as well. It's it's not going to be as big as the cities, obviously, but it's a little probably, I don't typically put on fireworks displays. So, but it's probably be a little bit more than your standard backyard, fireworks celebration. We provided the number of fireworks that we're going to use, so you have all that information. So, thank you very much for considering.
Thank you.
Any questions for me
before we begin? Any public comment on this item? Set up the podium if you do have anything online. And to begin deliberation, I'd like to have a motion.
I motion for the city manager to approve the 2026 single-use permit for fireworks other than consumer or low-impact fireworks for the First Baptist Church of Boyne City for the fireworks display to be held on July 31st, 2026.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Commissioner Foltz, you're up first.
My only question is, have nearby neighbors been notified?
You want to step to the podium so that you can be heard?
Yeah.
Online.
Have they been notified? I imagine there's some neighbors with pets that might want to take.
Sure. We will, obviously I didn't do that without knowing if we had the permit yet, but we can notify neighbors and about the event. I also post it on Facebook and, make it public knowledge.
Yeah. Thank you.
The only question I have is probably for Sam. Has public safety weighed in on this action or this activity?
They have, it's just they have no problem, no concerns.
Okay. I have no concerns beyond that, making sure that we have all the bases covered. Commissioner Hauser?
I have no issues with this. I appreciate going through the correct procedures and guidelines and not just doing fireworks and, figuring everything out later. So I appreciate you following the right steps and good luck with your fireworks.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hampton?
The only concern I have is it's been very dry. I mean, we just got rain for the first time, and where the church is a lot of wooded area. So maybe a caveat in there about making sure it's no burn restriction day or.
Yeah, one of our church members is actually on the fire department, so we do have plans to have, safety, water, to put out anything.
Perfect. That's all I worry about, because I know where you guys are, and I know it's a pretty wooded area there. Okay.
We don't want a wildfire.
Right.
There's enough
exactly.
going
We don't
already.
need it.
Any further discussion amongst the commission? Hearing none, roll call please.
Hauser,
Aye.
Farrell,
Aye.
Hampton,
Aye.
Foltz,
Aye.
the motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, sir. The next item is 10F. It's part playground immediate action plan. Josh, you're back up.
All right. So the Veterans Park Playground and Peninsula Park Playground, I was not here at the last commission meeting, but so I know you have a lot of history and probably have a lot of questions, so I'll just get to the recommendation. So it's my recommendation that the city commission approve that amount not to exceed 60,000 to seal and mediate the playground service at Veterans Park Community Playground and to authorize city manager or city parks and marina supervisors to execute the necessary documents. Get that? Fully prepared to answer questions.
Okay, before we do that, commission, any public want to weigh in on that?
Just one question, can you stay up low, closer to the microphone? I got hearing aid then, I'm sure.
Okay,
When I go home and listen to it, I want to make sure they hearing.
understood. Thank you. Hearing none from public here, anything online? Let me know when they're unmuted.
Hello.
Hello there, you have the floor under public comment for the playground.
Thank you. It's Michelle Archer again. And I just have a concern of whether or not it has been priced out. If the 60 grand might be better spent on putting up a steel playground with, landing pad areas and the different stimulus things, as if that might be money better spent, considering it would last much longer. And even though the wood that is currently there has been deemed safe, especially if there's hand washing after its use and everything, how much longer is it expected to be in use before it'll definitely need to be replaced? I guess I would like a price comparison before $60,000 is spent on something that eventually the coating may wear off, the wood's going to rot anyhow, versus having something that is much durable and longer lasting. I've also had a number of people say, when we've been in this discussion of, is that park really the best place where it could have been put? Because there are a number of other community usages of a same little park area. Would also, with the wind off the lake, it can be pretty chilly even when the weather's in the 70s. With the wind chill, wondering if another location might be better. I know that's a bunch of issues all in one, but definitely before we spend $60,000, has it been investigated in what a replacement with alternate equipment might be that would be longer lasting? That's all.
Thank you, Michelle. Anybody else online?
No.
Okay, this goes to the board for deliberation. And I'll make the motion that the city commission approve the amount not to exceed 60,000 to seal and remediate the playground surface area at the Veterans Park Community Playground and authorize city manager and or city parks and marina supervisor to execute the necessary documents. Is there support?
I support.
Moved and seconded. This action is only to remediate and bring us back into compliance with activity required by the state based on findings in 2015. So all this does is place us back on level ground. Otherwise, we would have to rope it off and deem it a hazard. So this keeps that in play. So there's a number of concerns overall just with the structure itself. Nothing lasts forever. And had we been maintaining it, we wouldn't be spending 60,000. to get us back to it being usable. I'm concerned with the investment that's required to replace it because my understanding is that is going to be a substantial cost based on the square footage and the activities that are provided on the current structure. We have something similar that was metals or rubber coated, that's not 60,000, that's not 600,000, that's more, at least in the estimates I've seen on potentials to replace it is substantially north of that number. So, I appreciate the community's input and continued support of the project. And I noticed in the material that you provided that there's volunteer components and other donations that are being made to make that happen. So I appreciate your creativity to make this a reality. But there's still a cost, and there's a cost that we as the city and under parks, we should have been doing all the way along, but that's a dead horse right now. We are where we are, and we have to take some action to make it usable and safe. Overall, I've visited the structure, I've looked at the components. It seems to be fairly well intact. There's only some areas that with some of the bridges and the things that have been covered that need to be resolved in terms of a safety perspective, but I'm surprised by the integrity that's still there with some year old feature. So I don't see that we have a good solution. The best solution would be able to just write a check and replace it. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. That unless there's grant money or other things that can do it, and that won't happen right away. And I hate to take that offline for our community unnecessarily. So, Commissioner Hauser?
I mean, I have some concerns for sure. That's a lot of money that wasn't budgeted for to be able to spend. Some of it was, I know, but most of it was not. And we've already had some major expenditures this year with the internet, with all the cybersecurity. There's, and I love the Wooden Park. It's beautiful. It's a great asset to our community, and it needs to be safe for kids, but is now maybe necessarily the best time to be doing it. We're going into winter when it's not going to be used for months at a time. And is it something that we could budget for the spring and in the fiscal 2027 budget? I feel like, I don't know. It's a lot of, it's also a really old structure. Is that something that we want to put a ton of money into that's 25-ish years old? I know it's a great asset to a community, and I know it gets used a lot, but I feel like it's maybe not the right time to be doing it going into winter. When we had a little more time, do I want to close it? No. But is it possibly the best thing to do and be able to budget more accordingly and plan more accordingly and do this in the spring when we have a longer time to look at exactly what needs to be done and plan a little bit more? I think maybe. So I don't necessarily think this is the right time to be doing this. I guess.
Sure, have to.
I definitely agree with a lot of aspects that Commissioner Hauser brought up. I have heard from a lot of people that just feel really unsafe with it open right now, just because of the health risks. I would like to see us maybe reaching out to the community for fundraisers in the future, or get that in people's ears. But it is we're at the end of the season. It is a lot of money. But it is used so much. It is definitely a subject that's hard to make a decision on because it's something that has to be done right every 2 years. Correct. So yeah. All right. That's all I have right now.
Your pulse?
I think there's a lot of attention and energy around this issue right now, and I think the community could come together and already, I believe, a local landscape company has volunteered to assist. People are ready to dig in and help keep this open, because if we don't do it now, I mean, these are level 1 hazards that if we didn't do this now, would we have to rope it off and shut it down if we don't take care of those level 1 hazards? That's an immediate action plan.
So the immediate action plan is just to get us back in compliance with our DDCC or with our action plan that was submitted to the state of Michigan. So not necessarily addressing every one of the level 1 hazards, but a majority of them. If you look at the list of level 1 hazards, 3 of those are just surface alone, that we're just not in compliance with the surface level. So, and then some of the other level 1 hazards, we might have to rope off and just say, hey, that part of the playground isn't going to be usable at this time, and work towards repairing those at a future date.
So
what we're asking for today is essentially just to pay what it would cost to remediate the surface. So we have to dig down, and it will take a lot of work, a lot of volunteer work. But we have to dig down so that there's a 18-inch total surface area below the demarcation, the soil level, essentially. So we would have to dig down, remove some soil, and put in like sand, topsoil, and fabric layer, and then 12 inches of mulch would go on top of that, or treated mulch, playground mulch. Yeah, and then sealing the wood components of it.
So the mulch and the sealant would be addressing
Just
2 of the level 1 hazards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're present hazards that need to be addressed immediately. And I think I'm glad we're going to have a community meeting after the Parks and Rec. We can really, get the community involved and get their input and get them engaged and talk about possibilities. Do we have people raising their hands saying, yes, I want to fundraise for a brand new structure and I know the right people? I mean, I think we should, that's a good idea, but I also think we need to move forward with this now. There are people and children that will use this well into November, December, that will use the playground regularly, despite it getting cold. It would be sad to have to shut it down right now. So I looked in our capital improvement plan, and I think that's the kind of thing that should be in the capital improvement plan for the future, but based on what direction we decide to go. Yeah, so that we can budget accordingly.
Absolutely.
So I'm in support of this.
Any further discussion?
So this will have to be closed either way, though, to take all that. I mean, that's a lot of dirt and a lot of stuff that has to come out of there and has to be painted. So it'll be a lot. It'll be shut down for a while anyway.
Well,
correct?
as long as we're making steps, the state of Michigan isn't going to shut the park down.
No, I mean, like when you're digging out all the
Yeah,
dirt.
it'll
and
be
all the-
closed during the actual maintenance work. And hopefully we have a good community out, turn out to help do some of this work.
Okay.
And the source of the funding on this is out of the parks budget? Is it-
So partly out of the parks maintenance budget, and then so the entire budget, the entire amount the maintenance budget will not cover the entire amount due to the amount of time we've lapsed.
Do we know what the split of that is?
So the maintenance, there's already $12,000 in the budget for the spraying and the treatment, but there is not the money in for the mulch, the 45,000. So that's gonna have to be additional money that's gonna be dedicated over into the parks, but it's not in the budget right now.
So it's 48 in general fund.
45.
45.
Yes.
You said there was 12 in maintenance
Yes,
and 60,000 to do the job. Remains 48
yes,
as far as,
40. There's 12,000 for the sealant, the labor and the product, and 45,000.
okay, this is again, another request of where we're allocating that money from.
So that's gonna have
So
to come
that's-
from the general, the amount from the mulch,
Okay,
because there is no 45,000 in.
okay. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Farrell,
Aye.
Hampton,
Nay.
Foltz,
Aye.
Hauser,
Nay.
Motion does not carry. Item 10G. We had a replacement to 10G. And do you want to go ahead and address this, Jessica?
So the purpose of this item is just to update the previously approved motion to more accurately reflect the terms of the agreement for the managed cybersecurity and information technology services. Because at the last meeting, it only reflected approving 1 month of service. So this is, if you guys are, if you can rescind the last motion made and then approve an ongoing monthly maintenance.
Okay. Is there any public comment on this item? If you do, please step to the podium. Anybody online? So I'm gonna have to read this off because this is an added item. Motion to approve to rescind the motion adopted July 14th, 2026, approving the managed cybersecurity and information technology services agreement with Common Angle and replace it with approve the managed cybersecurity and information technology services agreement with Common Angle under the terms and conditions set forth in the agreement and authorize the city manager and or city clerk treasurer to execute the agreement and any necessary documents to implement the services. So that's the first. I'll need a second.
Second.
And is there a need for discussion on this item? We're just correcting the previous vote. Hearing none, roll call please.
Hampton,
Aye.
Foltz,
Aye.
Hauser,
Aye.
Farrell,
Aye.
the motion carries.
Okay. We're on to item 11, which is go to the order. Any comments from the members? Hearing none. We'll close that. Number 12 is announcements. Early voting for the August 4th primary election will be held July 25th through the August 2nd from 8:30 to 4:30 each day at the Charlevoix County Downtown Building, 203 Antrim Street, Charlevoix. City Hall will be open on Saturday, August 1st from 7 to 3 p.m. for election-related services, including issuing and receiving absentee voter ballots. No other city business will be conducted during these hours. The statewide primary election will be held Tuesday, August 4th, and polls are open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And the next regular scheduled commission meeting is scheduled for August 11th at 7 o'clock p.m. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I moved.
I'll support. Roll call. Or just voice.
Either one. Foltz,
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. You stand adjourned.
Can't.
Two of those three.
Dying smalls.